We're now going to talk about symmetry. There are two types of symmetries, and the first one is any function that is symmetrical over the y-axis. If this is true, if the function we see is symmetrical over the y-axis, then we can call that function an even function. So let's look at the graph y equals x squared, which is our quadratic. So that looks very close to this. Now this graph is an even function because it is perfectly symmetrical over the y-axis. While not all quadratics are. So the algebraic way to determine if a function is even or not, meaning it has symmetry over the y-axis, is to input values and compare it to see what you get as an output value. For example, if we have the function f of x equals x squared, and I plug in positive 1, which is 1 squared, I'm going to get out positive 1. So, if I plug in that same value of 1, but the negative of it, and I square that, which is negative 1 with parentheses, squared, I'm going to get out positive 1. Whether or not we put in 1 or negative 1, we got out positive 1, which is the algebraic proof of determining if a function is even or not, meaning it has symmetry over the y-axis. So if I plugged in 2, I would get out 4. If I plugged in negative 2, I would get out 4, which means that our quadratic function y equals x squared is an even function. The next type of symmetry we have is symmetry about the origin. So if a function has symmetry about the origin, then that means that it is an odd function. So the function, the cubic function y equals x cubed, is an odd function. So here's my sketch. So this function is considered to have symmetry about the origin. To algebraically prove if a function is odd or not, we're going to do the same thing with an input and output, except we're going to assess the output values a little bit differently. So for the function x squared, x cubed, if I were to plug in f of 1, I'm going to get 1 cubed, which is 1. If I were to plug in the negative value, negative 1, then I would get negative 1 cubed, and then I would get out negative 1. So, a function is odd if the output value is the same value but the negative of that value. So, if I plugged in 2, I would get out 8, because 2 cubed is 8. And if I plugged in negative 2, I would get out the negative value of negative 8, which means y equals x cubed is an odd function.